name is Mrs. Alexander, and today we're going to do part 2 of our review of syllable division for vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel. How many sounded vowels are in this word? If you said 2, you are correct. What happens to your mouth when you say a vowel sound? That's right, it opens. What is a syllable? That's right, a syllable is an opening of the mouth. Is there a suffix or a final stable syllable on this word? When you pronounce this word, you will open your mouth 2 times as you say each vowel. This word has 2 syllables. Let's go ahead and divide this word into syllables. Okay, so remember we found 2 sounded vowels. I'll put my fingers under those. And normally when you have 2 vowels and 2 consonants in the middle, do you remember what that's called? Vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel. That's right. And where are we going to divide? We're going to divide between those 2 consonants. Okay, now remember that in most English words, the first syllable is accented. We'll accent it. So let's code those syllables now. The first syllable has a vowel and a consonant. That means it's a closed syllable, so we'll code it with a breve. The second syllable also is a closed syllable. We'll code that with a breve as well. So next we're going to read our first syllable without the accent. Let's read it. Read it with me. Sec. Now let's read the second syllable. Read it with me. Ret. Let's read it together with the accent. Sec, ret. Does that sound like a word we know? Not quite. Something doesn't sound right. Let's try changing that accent to the second syllable and see if that makes a difference. Okay, let's read that first syllable again. Sec, ret. Okay, read it with the accent. Sec-ret. Now that still doesn't sound right. Whenever you have a vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel, and changing the accent didn't work, there's something else that we could try. Do you think you know what it could be? Well, we're going to try changing where we divide it. So let's try dividing it before that first consonant. Okay, now let's look at the word. Remember, we're accenting that first syllable because in most English words that's what we do. But look, did you notice that that first syllable now became an open syllable and it has a macron over it because it ended in a vowel? The second syllable is still a closed syllable. We'll still put a breve there. Let's read it now with the accent in the first syllable. Our new word, secret. Now that sounds more like words we know. I know a secret. Good job. Let's review the steps for syllable division. So first we're going to count the vowels. We're going to check and see if there's any final stable syllables or any suffixes. Then we're going to put our fingers under the vowels and look at what's in between. We're going to count the consonants. Then we divide. Usually we accent the first syllable. Then we're going to code each syllable. Number 7, we're going to read each syllable without your accent. Then you're going to read it with an accent. And if it still doesn't sound right, then you change the accent. But if that's still not right, then the thing that we've just added today is a change in a division. That means that we would divide it somewhere else. So let's look at this word. How many sounded vowels do you see? You see 2? Put my fingers under those. All right. Now remember, we're going to normally, when you see that, a vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel will divide between those 2 consonants. And then normally we'll accent that first syllable. So look at that first syllable again. It is closed. That's right. Code it with a breve. And that second syllable, it's also closed. Code it with a breve. Okay, let's try reading that first syllable without the accent. Ready? Read it with me. Prog. Let's read the second syllable. Ram. Now let's put it together with the accent. Program. Does that sound good? That doesn't sound like a word I know. Let's try changing where we accent it and see if that makes a difference. Now let's read it. Program. No, that still doesn't sound right. So remember, if changing the accent doesn't work, then try changing where you divide it. Let's divide it before that first consonant. And let's move that accent back to the first syllable, because most of the time that's where the accent is. But it's not a breve anymore. Look at that first syllable. It's not closed. It ends in a vowel. It's open. So we'll have to change that to a macron. The second syllable is still closed. So now let's read both syllables and let's use that accent. Program. Does that sound better? That sounds like a word I know and recognize. Good job. Let's try another one. All right, so where do we have our sounded vowels? And we're going to divide between the two consonants. Remember, the first syllable is going to be accented. All right, let's code our first syllable. Actually, both of them are breves because they're both closed syllables. So let's read the first syllable without the accent. App. And the second syllable, rill. Read it with the accent. April. That doesn't sound right. Let's change the accent. April. That still doesn't sound right. So let's go ahead and change where we divide that word. Now we're going to change the accent back to the first syllable. But now that's not a closed syllable anymore because that vowel is standing by itself, so it's open. We'll mark it with the macron. Second syllable is still closed. Now let's read it. April. That sounds more like a word we know. So remember, words with a vowel, consonant, vowel pattern usually divide between two consonants. Accent the first syllable and read. If that does not work, accent the second syllable. If that still doesn't work, then try dividing before the consonant and accenting the first syllable. You did a great job today. Thank you for participating with me in part 2 of our syllable division lesson. I'll see you next time. Bye.